I mean, it didn't give me a lot of time to panic, you know. So, I love it. I love being able to just sort of, you get the script and you have to make choices very quickly. I mean, we shoot an episode every 6 days, and we're probably shooting, in a normal television world, they would probably shoot this episode, what, 10 days? 8 to 10 days. So the 6-day episode for an hour show with all the makeup, all the effects, all the extras, all the locations, we are working very, very fast. And so it doesn't really give you a lot of time to contemplate or worry or bitch and moan. You know, you just got to get on with it. And you know, I, in a sense, I think that's good. You know, because you have to make decisions, you have to make them quick, just like the apocalypse. If you hesitate, you're dead. So, you know, I think that's a great aspect of the show. And, you know, you got to go with your gut. You got to go with, you know, what's your first instinct. And so I love that aspect of it. And it's been really fun getting to work with these guys and create a character from scratch. I mean, and we'll talk a little bit about, you know, what Murphy's going through or what he's been through or what his motivation is. And, you know,
tell us a little bit about Murphy. You know, what's his background? And,
well, Murphy, you know, at the beginning of the show, the very beginning, we were two years into the apocalypse. He's a prisoner, and the government is starting to experiment on prisoners with experimental viral vaccines. So he's basically a lab rat, and they inject him, and the minute they inject him, we're overrun with zombies, and I am strapped down at the table and bitten by about a dozen zombies. And so, which was kind of a horrific experience, and when I was shooting that, I kind of blacked out. I don't know what that was. But I was screaming so much that I kind of passed out a little bit. So watch for that in that scene. But, and right from there, then we jump cut to a year later from that, and now we are on the road trying to get me to a lab in California to replicate the virus. So now I'm a different kind of prisoner. I'm now a prisoner of these people who are, you know, they're trying to do something for the good of mankind. But, you know, from my point of view, from Murphy's point of view, he's still, you know, a prisoner. And so he has no free will and hasn't for some time. And so I think he's got plenty of good reason to be cranky and, you know, quite in a pissy mood, if you ask me.
The other interesting thing is your character is morphing throughout he's slowly turning into a zombie throughout the episode. So every week he's a little different. He looks worse, his attitude is worse, he's gaining, you know, his relationship with zombies is changing. They're seeing him less as a human and more as another one of them. He's starting to get some zombie-like powers as the episodes go on. So he's got his character arc is huge.
Yeah, which is also, I think, very interesting. Something I've never seen in a zombie show is someone who is now, you know, essentially part zombie, part human. And I think for my character, it's terrifying. For one thing, he doesn't know what's going to happen to him. He doesn't know if he's going to wind up turning into a mindless, brainless zombie, or if he will wind up saving humanity. And so he's been thrust into this experience against his, you know, own consent. And so I think he's a great character.
But he's not a nice guy.
No. I think, like I said, I think he's got good reason to be in a pissy mood.
I'm sorry, man. The thing that's just interesting about the show in general, a different dynamic, is that we're all aware of zombie culture going into it. Like, I can't remember another show where people knew about like the zombie TV shows and movies and comic books, you know, going into the actual zombie apocalypse.
Right, we just referenced like the Romero movie and
yeah,
exactly. We call them zombies.
You call them zombies, not all zombies.
zombies.
Do you ever try to avoid just using the term walker at all? You would never use the term walker. Just call them zombies.
Yeah, it normally comes up in, I don't know if we've ever established in our mythology if The Walking Dead exists as a TV show.
well, we did reference. There was
oh, you do?
Yeah, well, just there was a reference to there's some people that were holed up in the prison.
Oh,
yeah. And our assumption is our characters used to watch
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, The Walking Dead. And part of the premise of the show is what brought about the zombie apocalypse was all the interest in zombies. Got the government thinking, you know, some terrorists might come up with a zombie virus. We better manufacture a zombie
Carl, that might be a
vaccine.
spoiler, buddy. We haven't gotten that far, I don't think.
And I think that's like, you know, I think it's the interest in zombies is sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy in our
The more you think about it, the more it happens, right?
Well, and you know, if you look at the news right now with Ebola, and you know the doctor that is having to give up his own blood for transfusions, I'm like, wow, that is so like what we're writing about, or what you're writing about right now. I mean, it's,
we welcomed everybody to WalkerStalkerCon2014. The zombie apocalypse is going to start this weekend here at our event.
That's right.
Well, it's interesting though, when you're on Twitter and stuff like that, people are like, is this the start of the zombie apocalypse? You know, anytime there's like any kind of new disease, like when it was birth, everybody's, is this how the apocalypse starts out? Everyone's, you know, everyone's ready for it.
Now, I want to ask Michael, your character is Mac. Give me an idea of how you play in this for the people that haven't watched the show yet. Give me an idea of where you play in all of this, and give us an idea.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, Mac is he's a man of few words. You know, he's not flashy. He's very like his pragmatism is how he's gotten through the apocalypse up to this point. You know, he tries to stay in control and assess any given situation and just deal with it strategically, quickly. Like Mac has what I would consider to be like the athlete's like clutch gene, if that makes any sense. You know, when you're in those high pressure situations, when other people's heart rate, blood pressure would rise, Max falls. He actually sees things more slowly than the people. He was an athlete in college, kind of when all this broke out. So Mac is a guy who tries to keep things under control. I mean, he's got his 22 pistol, like the simplest weapon you could possibly have. But the one thing, there is also this volcano that's underneath him. He's also a bit of a hothead. He doesn't like authority. He really is not into this mission. I mean, I don't think he's someone who has a lot of hope for this guy being the savior of humanity.
You're kind of addicted.
A little bit, yeah. But the one area where Mac really can't keep it together is when it comes to protecting his girl, Abby. I mean, Abby, Mac was really reborn into this new world, and his whole sense of purpose and identity really is wrapped around protecting this girl. I don't know how healthy that is, but it's cool. I mean, it certainly gives me, as an actor, a very clear sense of purpose. It's something to do. And when it comes to protecting Abby, I mean, when she's in danger, he just turns into a gorilla. Like he can't hold it together. So yeah, I would say Mac is the very sort of the soft-spoken hothead, if that makes any sense.
Very cool. Well, let's go ahead and take our first question.
Hi, I'm Thomas. The one thing I love.
Hold on, we can't hear you, Thomas. Hold on, just get his mic on.
Try again.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Thomas. The one thing I love about your show is that you go over the top while also keeping it realistic. I mean, the first episode, we lost someone who I walked in the episode thinking this is our main protagonist. But then we get, zombies getting killed by Liberty Bells or zombie NATO. The one thing I've always been curious about, the I Give You Mercy, have you guys actually worked up a backstory as to, like, the government is saying if you see your family members, give them mercy or anything like that? Because it seems to be a pretty well-established thing within this universe that no matter where people are, they know what I Give You Mercy means.
We talked a lot about it in the writers' room before, when we were first coming up with the ideas for the episodes and stuff like that. And we're just trying to think, what would it be like 3 years into the apocalypse when almost all the population is dead? Like 90% of the people in the United States are dead at that point, and that it's just it's not a universal thing to give mercy, but it's a very widespread act, sort of sacrament that people do for the dead at that point. And they're also trying to, when they can, identify them and keep track of them. Because there's another thing that's in the culture of people at that time is that they may be the last generation of humans, that we might not make it as a race. So I think those two things, just try to give it an aspect that you don't see a lot in zombie shows, which is empathy for the zombies in a way, and that they do have feelings for these people, and it's, realize that they, even though we kill a heck of a lot of them in some pretty brutal ways in the show, they only do it out of necessity, and that there is a emotional attachment to the zombies. It grows, as the show goes forward, we learn more and more about zombies, and through Murphy's character, we want the audience to kind of begin to feel some empathy for the zombies as well.
Another question over here. You can pick up that microphone if you want. And come a little closer.
Nice job.
My name's Landry, and I'm
Hey, Landry, we saw you earlier, right? Hey, how you doing?
Good. I was wondering if there's going to be a season 2.
Well, we hope so.
I think so. We're doing really well on the ratings for the Sci-Fi Channel, and we have a growing fan base, and the episodes are getting better each week. So I think we'll hear about a season 2 soon.
And the other part of my question, are you guys, where are you guys going to be filming next?
Talking about the show or talking about the
Oh, where are we going to be filming next? Well, we filmed the show all in Spokane, Washington, which has all these great locations near Spokane that seem like you're crossing the entire country. So next season, we'll still be heading on to California, but we're going to take a few detours along the way.
Thank you.
Next question.
This is Seth. I was wondering who do you think will be the new leader?
Yeah, who do you think will be the new leader?
Oh, well, I think Warren is going to become the leader for, we'll see. If we make it through this next episode that you're going to see, episode 7 that they show, she's really shook up, like some of our audiences, about Garnett being killed, and she may have to step up and become the leader. But it's not easy, and the one thing about this show is the unexpected always happens. So we'll have to see.
And the other thing I would say is one of the things that's understated about the show that I think we're all really proud of is we have very strong female characters in our show, which is a little bit atypical for a TV show. And so it's perfectly natural for us to have Warren step up. You know, there's not like, like a hesitation that some other show might have. So I think that's also going to really kind of distinguish the show from not just Walking Dead, but I think other shows where you don't really see like strong female characters become leaders in too many shows.
This show, what I always enjoy about it, it is such a throwback to the old zombies, but also to old horror movies. Just that sense of uneasiness, but you can laugh at something when it's scary, and that's something I really enjoy about it. Other than the Romero stuff, I mean, like the baby in the pilot, I mean, it's phenomenal. Because there's Walking Dead, you never see a zombie baby right off the bat. You get the zombie baby, but where, why is it important that sense of humor is in there, but also that there's a different vibe, like a real sense of adventure. Like this is an adventure. We've got this long-term goal and mission, which I think is really cool. So how important is that to the show, and is that going to be a continuing underlying theme, or is there a point where this is going to get, serious and rigid?
Well, it won't get serious. I think we want the show to be kind of like life, where sometimes the scariest thing and the funniest thing are the same thing. And the way, our feeling was that the characters all have a sense of humor because that's a survival skill at this point. And if you did take it all too seriously, you just curl up and fall and die. And that part of what made our heroes survive to this point is their sense of humor that they have. And one of the things that I have to give Fred props for, because he sort of started the ball rolling on this project, was that idea of our group has a mission. They have hope. They're not just trying to survive and waiting to die. They've got a chance to save things, and that forces them forward. Even no matter how bad things get, they keep moving forward. There's always a mission to go back to. And then, our studio is the Asylum, who's known for things like Sharknado. So it had to have a little bit of that crazy tone in it. And The Walking Dead is already there's a fantastic drama about zombies on. And we knew, okay, they do that perfectly. What can we do that's different? What defines us as different from them? And I think it's that sense of hope, the mission, and the sense of humor going through it. And just, I wanted the audience to feel like these people are crazy making the show. What's the Liberty Bell doing? You know, bombing down the street, wiping out zombies, or a zombie baby. Every episode is going to have some crazy moment in it where you can tell the guys behind the camera are laughing when they're doing it.
You know, the tone to me, it really harkens back to like old drive-in horror movies. For me, when I was a teenager, that's the kind of stuff. We knew we were going to go see a horror movie where people were going to get slashed and killed, but we knew we were going to laugh for part of it. That was part of the fun for me, you know, back in the day. You know, we would go to those movies and, you know that we were going to be scared and laugh our ass